my YouTube friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that comes up with pretty much every single client that I talk to, and that is the super low caloric recommendations for weight loss given by certain websites such as Myfitnesspal and Cronometer. So what typically happens every time I talk to a new client is I'll ask them a series of questions about their fitness goals, and they'll usually tell me that they want to kind of like tone up, and to them that means that they want to increase their muscle and lose a little bit of fat. And so then I'll ask them, more questions about their lifestyle, what their day-to-day life is like, what their eating habits are like, how much exercise they do, what kind of exercise they do, etc. And then when we get to the part about nutrition, I'll ask them, okay, so do you know how many calories you eat? How many calories have you been eating consistently for the last year or a few months or whatever? And 9 times out of 10, they will give me quite a low number, anywhere between 1,200 to 1,600 calories. And then I'll ask them, okay, well, so why are you eating such a low amount of calories? And they will always tell me it's because Myfitnesspal or Cronometer has told them that that is how much they need to eat in order to lose weight. So then when I create their program and come up with my own caloric recommendations for them, they're always really surprised at how much higher my recommendations are than, Myfitnesspal. And they'll be like, okay, Christine, well, why are you recommending 2,000 calories or 2,100 calories or whatever, instead of 1,400 calories, which is what Myfitnesspal said that I needed to eat in order to lose weight? And my answer to that is I don't know why Myfitnesspal and Cronometer tell us to eat such low amount of calories, but I can share with you my personal method of how I figure out the caloric recommendations for my clients and what works for me personally. So I'm gonna use myself as an example and go through this with you right now. Okay, so just for fun, let's go to my Myfitnesspal page and type in my stats and see what it has to say about calories and weight loss. So starting weight, 137 pounds, 5'8". My goal weight is 134 pounds, so I want to lose 1 pound a week in the next 3 weeks. Now you guys all know my birthday, so please feel free to send me presents. Okay, so when you're determining your activity level, this is your activity level not including your exercise. So this is just what you're doing every day, not including your workouts. Okay, so I actually sit around most of the day at my computer, so I'm gonna choose sedentary. So if you had a different kind of job, like if you're a waitress or walking around on your feet, then you choose lightly active, etc., etc. But for me, I have a desk job, and most people who have desk jobs would pick sedentary. So then, yeah, this part's not really that important. But here's lose 1 pound per week. So let's see what it says. Okay, so it says for net calories, the suggestion is 1,200 calories a day. So net calories means that does not include calories burned from exercise. So what this means is it's telling you, okay, if you don't work out, you need to eat 1,200 calories. So that's for a non-workout day. On a workout day, you're supposed to add the amount of calories you've burned from your workout to this number, and that's how many calories you should eat that day. So what Myfitnesspal is telling me is that on a day that I don't work out, I should be eating 1,200 calories. And on a day that I do work out, let's say the average workout that I'm doing burns, this is just an arbitrary number, let's just say 300 calories. So then they're saying on a day where I do a workout that burns 300 calories, I should be adding 300 calories to 1,200, so then I should be eating 1,500 calories on that day. So that's how this works. And I can tell you that if I was eating 1,500 calories a day, I would be quite miserable. I would be thinking about food all the time, obsessing over it. I would be hungry all the time. I wouldn't have energy to work out. I would be grumpy as I wouldn't be able to sleep. I just wouldn't be able to function properly. So given that situation, if I did want to lose weight, what kind of a deficit, what caloric recommendations would I give to myself? Because I've been eating for the past year at maintenance calories or above, I've been in a surplus for most of the last year, building muscle. I would then drop myself down to a very small deficit, 10% below my maintenance calories. And through trial and error, I found that my maintenance calories, so the amount of calories that I can eat every day without gaining weight or losing weight, based on my current activity level, is around 2,200 calories a day. So then I would say, all right, take that number, take 10% of it, so that's 200 calories, and minus that from your daily calories. So to get myself into a 10% caloric deficit, I would be eating 2,000 calories a day instead of 2,200 calories a day. And that would be my recommendation for myself in order to lose weight, 1 pound a week. But for someone like my typical client who comes to me and says they want to tone up, build some muscle, and lose a bit of fat, I don't recommend a deficit right away because they're coming from this kind of like yo-yo restriction background, trying to eat a low amount of calories and then usually binge eating. They just haven't been giving their body consistent calories, so their body has kind of adjusted to a lower amount of calories. And a lot of the time people will say, well, I think I'm gonna gain weight if I eat more calories, and it's because their metabolism has kind of slowed down. So for those people, I just recommend eating at maintenance calories for a good chunk of time in order to kind of like reset your metabolism. And really, when you're not overweight, you just have like a little bit of extra fat to lose, but you also want to build muscle at the same time. It's really not helpful to be in a caloric deficit. It's helpful to be eating at maintenance or even slightly above, because you do need that energy for your workouts. You do need energy. Your body needs the energy to actually build muscle. And after you've spent a good amount of time building up some muscle by being in a caloric surplus, a slight caloric surplus, or just at maintenance, after you've reset your metabolism, built some muscle, then it can be appropriate at some point to go into a very small caloric deficit for a short amount of time. So diets shouldn't last for 6 months, unless you're 100 pounds overweight or whatever. But for the average person who has 5, 10, 15 pounds to lose, dieting for long periods of time is not a good idea. And for someone that comes to me with a lot more weight to lose, like 40 plus pounds, I would typically first just bring them to maintenance calories, focus on changing up their training, focus on changing the quality of food that they're eating. And if you need some examples of what kind of foods I recommend, I have a lot of videos on my channel that show what I eat in a day. And I also have a recipe ebook that I'll link down in the description called This Is How I Eat, so I can show you exactly the kinds of meals that I recommend for my clients. Large caloric deficits underneath your maintenance calories just are not necessary, and they're not sustainable either. So you might be wondering, okay, well, how do I now figure out my maintenance calories? And in general, like, I do recommend eating intuitively, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. But for many of us who have kind of been on this like diet roller coaster, we've really lost touch with our hunger cues and really understanding when we're hungry. And we just kind of are like, just give me a number because I need something to start from. So I'm gonna give you a starting point, and I'm gonna show you how I personally figure out maintenance calories for myself or my clients or whatever. But this isn't like a hard and fast rule, and you should never be like, okay, this is the number and I can't budge from it. This is just a starting point. It's just a guide, something to get you started. And from there, just experiment and see, do you feel satisfied at this amount of calories? Like, what is happening in your body? You really just need to use your own judgment, because this technique that I'm about to show you to figure out your maintenance calories is just a guide. Okay, so here is the website that I use to calculate maintenance calories. I'm gonna put the link to this in the description. So let's scroll down, same information. Now, when you're choosing your activity level, this is different than on Myfitnesspal because Myfitnesspal does not incorporate the amount of exercise you're doing. That's extra. But on this one, you want to choose an activity level that also includes your workouts. So for myself, since I'm basically, sedentary, but I do work out a fair amount, 5 days a week, I'm gonna put myself as moderately active. If I was someone who was on my feet all day and working out a lot, I would do either, extremely active or very active. Like say, for example, if you're like a server, so you're on your feet all day working in a restaurant and you also do, 5 workouts a week, then I would say obviously very active. Or if you're, an extreme athlete, or a professional athlete, then I would put extremely active, but most people watching this will not qualify for that. So moderately active is what I'm gonna choose, and voila, 2,110 calories. Now keep in mind, even this is a little bit low because I know from my personal experience that I can eat maybe around 2,300 calories and not have any change in weight. So even when you're using this website, I recommend rounding up a little bit, adding 100, maybe 200 calories to whatever number it spits out at you here. So like I said, these recommendations are just a rough guide, but I highly recommend experimenting with increasing your calories if you've been following these low calorie recommendations from Myfitnesspal or whatever. And don't just do it for a few days or a week and then freak out and go back to low calories. Like, you have to be consistent, so just keep at it. Your body and metabolism will adjust in time, and it won't, it probably will only take a few weeks. And I know people always ask me, well, how long will it take? Well, I can't give an answer for everyone. Everybody's a little bit different, so just start experimenting. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that if you're like my typical client who comes to me and wants to tone up, build some muscle, lose a little bit of fat, don't focus so much on the scale, because if you're weight training, if you're building strength, building muscle, your weight might actually go up. It could stay the same if you're building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Weight training, eating at maintenance calories, that is something that can easily happen. Your body fat will go down, your muscle will increase, but the scale will stay the same or even go up. Like for me personally, I now weigh 137 pounds. And a couple of years ago, when I was around the same level of leanness that I am now, I was 10 pounds lighter, and I always thought, like, oh my goodness, I cannot go above 130 pounds. Like, that was my number that I was so afraid of going over, because I thought that my body looked the best below 130 pounds, but I was proven wrong, because I am 137 pounds now and I think that I look great. So yeah, just don't focus on the scale, focus on how you feel, focus on getting stronger, eating good, nutritious, whole, nutrient-dense food, and just don't focus on eating low calories. That is my best advice for you in this video. Okay, so to close out this video, I want to tell you that I'm going to be doing a little experiment with myself, and I'm going to be documenting it for you. So for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be putting myself into a 10% caloric deficit. So I'm going to be eating 2,000 calories a day for the next 3 weeks. I'll be doing weekly check-ins, what I eat in a day, weigh-in videos for you for the next 3 weeks, because I really want to show you that it is possible to lose weight on a small caloric deficit once your metabolism is in a healthy place. And I know my metabolism is in a healthy place because I can eat 20 to 2,300 calories and not gain weight. I've been eating at maintenance or slightly above, sometimes more than slightly above over the last year. So I just want to show you that it is possible to eat in a small deficit to lose weight, and you don't need to go to extreme measures. Also, I have a photo shoot coming up in a few weeks, so I think it would be a great opportunity just to kind of lean out a tiny bit for the photo shoot. Obviously, I don't feel like I need to lose weight right now. I feel great, and I don't think that I look like I need to lose weight. I just want to make that very clear, but for the purpose of showing you guys that it is possible, and you know, just for the photo shoot, which photo shoots typically, you know, look better when you're super cut. But this isn't something that I plan on maintaining, you know, long term. After this 3 weeks, I'm gonna go back to eating normally, and I'm not gonna be in a deficit anymore, and I'm not gonna be, well, we'll see what happens. I don't even know yeah, well, let's just see. All right, so stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm gonna upload a video showing you what I eat in a day. We'll do a physique update, and yeah, I'll show you all my calories and macros, all my meals, and yeah, so we'll do that for the next 3 weeks, and we'll do this little experiment, and yeah, I think it should be fun. So let's see what happens. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. If you're interested in coaching with me, you can check out my website. Link is in the description, and yeah, I think that is it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta.